Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we have a discussion about what we're most looking forward to in 2021. As always, we cover the latest Disney news and close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gaze Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick, pork-chopped Kazuki.
Am I first to leave? Uh-oh.
You are first in all of our hearts.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's what that means, but I'll take it. Adam Hydration Hummel.
Yes, please.
It's January, which means we have no moisture in the air here in Minnesota anymore.
New year, new me, right? Hydration.
I like it. Drink that water, slap that lotion on your face, and plug in a humidifier, folks. It's January.
Do it, please. Happy New Year, Patrick.
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to all of our Tweedles out there.
To all the Tweedles, we wish you a lovely 2021.
Make it a special one, you know?
Make it last all year long.
If you can. If you can do that, please, we encourage you to do so.
That's all we encourage, is making it last. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. You know, Patrick, normally at this point in the show, on our first episode after the new year, we make some resolutions, some Disney resolutions.
Mm-hmm. AKA, we tell some lies.
We straight up lie to our Tweedles.
And to ourselves, let's be clear.
The biggest lies to ourselves, isn't it?
It usually is.
But we thought this year we will save our resolutions for Quick D.
I like it. What a grand idea you've had.
Let's end this episode on a lie.
As per usual, we're going to start it with a lie and end it with a lie. Just one big disappointment of an episode. Adam, how was your New Year's Eve / New Year's Day?
Well, as soon as we popped onto Zoom, Patrick, I told you some truths. And my truth today, the truth I am living, is that I had way too much dairy yesterday.
Good for you. Just gallons of milk, I assume.
Spoiled milk? Cheese? Is that what cheese is? Spoiled milk?
That's a unflattering way to say it, but sure, why not?
All right. I ate a bunch of moldy milk yesterday.
Well, good for you. I love cheese. Any cheeses to call out, Adam?
Well, Patrick, my Fab Five cheeses include... Listen, I love a Swiss, Patrick. A Swiss cheese?
Oh, well, the cheese stands alone on that one, Adam. I do not like Swiss cheese.
I love it. We had a lovely kind of cranberry white cheddar situation.
Okay, I'm on board with that.
And we always have some kind of jalapeno cheese thrown into the mix.
Sensible. Rough for the heartburn, I imagine.
It oddly does not affect me.
Oh, well, the cheese maybe cancels it out.
There's a good balance there. Yeah, it's like the light and dark side of the force.
Sensible. So sensible.
Wow, what a beginning to this episode.
We're just going to switch to a podcast about cheeses. Gaze, do the cheese.
Tell me all about your New Year's Day, your New Year's Eve. How were your celebrations?
Oh, just grand. I Zoomed with some friends and some family on New Year's Eve. And then on New Year's Day, I'll tell you what, I dug in from start to finish the series on Disney Plus, On Point.
Ooh, how was it?
It is so good. I need more of it. I need more shows like this. I need a season 2. I highly recommend On Point. It's both emotional and fun and inspiring. It's wonderful.
Did our dreams come true? Did Donna Murphy make an appearance?
Donna Murphy did not teach the kids to leave it at the bar, unfortunately. You know, she was at the bar, I think, at the time of filming. Very, very different bar.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me.
It does. And then, of course, I watched the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13.
What'd you think? I mean, let's go from cheese to drag.
A natural progression. I'm excited about the new cast. It seems a cast full of very talented, very beautiful queens. I'm excited that there is our first ever, well, not our first ever, but our first, I'll just call it, our first fully coming into the show trans queen, which is amazing.
Yes.
And that queen is fantastic. But the episode itself, I was like, oh, I was left confused by it.
I agree with absolutely everything you said.
It wasn't very articulate. I apologize. I've only had 3 cups of coffee. I need 6 before I do a podcast. But yeah, it was a fine episode. It's exciting to see what's to come, but they left us with too much of a cliffhanger with no resolution, which felt unnecessary.
That and a lot of the same, right? Like, I mean, how many lip syncs for your life can you watch in one episode? Apparently, it's maybe 6. Is that what it was?
It is 6. It is absolutely 6. Our friend Lizzie had a hot take on that, in that it sounds like the producers listened to the audience, in that we all love the lip syncs. That's like our favorite part of the show sometimes. And so like, let's just do 6 of them then, with no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, they took that audience enthusiasm to heart and applied it to the whole episode.
Yep. They applied it incorrectly. So here we are. But as we said, we're excited about the new cast.
Yes, very excited. And you're right, Patrick. I mean, the runways and the lip syncs. Isn't that what we're there for?
That's what we're there for sure. And I'll tell you what, our Tweedleys at home are also here for a podcast about cheese and drag queens.
Cheese, drag queens. Anything else we should talk about?
Probably some Disney stuff. We should maybe get into some Disney stuff.
Okay.
Well, I have a celebration for us, Adam. We have not 1, but 2 brand new Patreon members to celebrate.
That is incredibly exciting. Let's make them lip sync for their lives against each other.
I love that idea. We should start doing that from now on. We have Silent Tommy to thank and JB to thank. Thank you both for joining our Patreon family this past week.
So we have Jay and Silent Tommy.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. What an interesting pair.
Wow.
Tommy, your new name is Bob, by the way. Again, 6 people will understand that joke. We're just going to keep that all year long. 6 people jokes.
Sorry, Tommy. That's the way it works on the podcast. We determine what you will be called.
That's right. So thank you both for joining our Patreon family. Adam, it's a new year, new you. Do you want to tell the folks at home all about our Patreon page? I love putting you on the spot with that.
I would love nothing more, because this year is all about experiencing things I have very rarely done.
That's a big list.
Surprisingly, it's not so big. There's a lot I've done, Patrick.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the pictures to prove it.
2021, let's have some 2020 fun. Away we go.
Ooh.
If you would like to become a member of our Patreon family, you can head on over to gaysdothedeed.com and click on that donate button, and that will take you to our Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, yes, $1 a month, you can gain access to some really fabulous extras, like special episodes called GDTD Raw and Uncut.
Raw and uncut. That's all I got.
I like it. It was economical, you know?
Mm-hmm. You got to just get in there and get out.
Get in and get out. Yes. So you're going to get those special episodes, and then you're also going to have access to very special Patreon only giveaways. That's right. Frequently we have giveaways on the podcast. And if you join our Patreon fam, very often there will be an exclusive version of the giveaway just for our Patreon family members.
That's right. All you have to do is be a member. You don't have to do anything else. You will automatically be entered into these very special giveaways.
And on top of all of that, as if that was not enough, if you join at certain tier levels, you'll receive a gift after your second month of membership.
That's absolutely correct. Well done, Adam. I appreciate the homework you've done this year.
You know, as awful as eating all that dairy made me feel, I think it actually gave me a little extra brain power today.
There you go. It added some gray matter to your skull.
Oh, I don't like that.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
Eat my brains.
Do you think someone said that to Hannibal Lecter?
Yes, one of Hannibal Lecter's Patreon family members was like, eat my brains.
Well, no, they said, try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
Oh, okay.
You did not follow me on that joke, but that's okay. That's okay.
I guess the dairy didn't go to my brain.
Fair enough. Well, thank you again, Silent Tommy and JB, and all the rest of our amazing, amazing Patreon members.
Well, Patrick, I promised myself I wasn't going to do this, but we're going to have to do this in the episode. We're going to have to go back to 2020.
Oh, dear. Oh, God, what a nightmare.
Do you remember even?
I've forgotten. As soon as that ball dropped, I turned a new page, and it's a brand new day.
That's the way to do it. But unfortunately, we do need to take a look back. Fortunately, however, we're taking a look back at some of our Tweedle's thoughts and opinions on our spoiler-free review of Soul.
And boy, did they have some thoughts and opinions.
Thoughts, opinions, it's all here. We're going to start with Matt, who you can find on Instagram at Landlopers and has been a guest on this very podcast, and we have been a guest on his podcast. Matt says, I thought it was good.
I like it, Matt. Again, succinct. That's a good podcaster right there.
We could learn a thing or two from him.
That's right. We're 37 minutes into the episode so far, and we've talked about very little Disney items.
Well, that's what our Tweedle's comments are for, to save us.
True story. Speaking of, let's move on to Kevin, who's on Instagram at Mr. KevyKevs85. Kevin says, I firmly disliked the film, though the animation department continues to take Pixar to new heights of realism. The lighting transition when Libba walks from her incandescent work lamp into the natural light of the room was breathtaking. Very disappointed in the overall lack of actual plot, and honestly, the fact they used their first black leading character to solve the issues of an assumed white woman, in parentheses, cannot help but conjure the image from Tina Fey's vocal performance. There was plenty of story, drama, humor, pain, love, and revelation in the journey of our intended hero, and I'd rather have seen that movie. Nothing ever really went there enough for me. Though I thought the introduction of spiritual cultures was handled with such intelligent, delicate grace. First Pixar film I would sadly not recommend. Interesting.
Moving on to Corey, who you can find on Instagram at Mama B Travels. Corey says, so good. Even my husband wanted to watch it twice, but we have a 4-year-old, so we've obviously watched it more than that.
I assume that means your 4-year-old enjoyed the movie, or at least enjoyed watching or looking at the movie.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. At the very least, right, for kids, there's just the beautiful imagery for them to grasp onto.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we have Cynthia on Instagram at Cynthia_TX. Overall, I thought it was good, not a favorite of mine. Didn't seem like a kid's film to me, but my 10-year-old son loved it and said it's one of his favorite from Pixar.
I love hearing that. Dana, who you can find on Instagram at Dana Marie G, says, I really enjoyed Soul, although it did not feel remotely like a kid's movie to me. I'm sure kids can and will enjoy it, but it felt aimed at adults.
Fair enough. It's interesting that we have these adults saying it doesn't seem like a kid's movie, and yet they are saying that their kids enjoyed the movie. So it's like, well, then maybe it is a kid's movie.
The children, Patrick, the children are open to the vibes of the universe, and they get it. They get it.
They do. They understand thoroughly. Next up, we have Padrick on Instagram. Freshness is essential. Padrick says, loved Soul, certainly one of the most mature Pixar films, and some of the animation style harkened back to Fantasia for me, but that might have been the predominance of music in the film. That's very interesting. I can absolutely see that.
Absolutely. A visual representation of an abstract idea.
Right. You're watching music be animated sometimes.
God, Patrick, what you said right there, that's why you're the host of this podcast.
Well, one of two. I wish the other one would show up today for work, you know?
The other one had a lot of dairy. Mario, who you can find on Instagram at Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co., says, I really enjoyed the movie, and it was probably the most ambitious storyline from Pixar, tackling the before and afterlife. I, however, cannot speak on the Black experience in America, but it did not sit well with me that a white-voiced character tried to take the body of a Black person. Then the Black person had to give up his life for a white person to live. If a Black voice actor portrayed 22, this could have been resolved. It also made a very odd choice to confuse one Black male with another and accidentally place that unnamed Black man in the afterlife for a few moments. These choices should be rectified if they hired more Black voices when making movies at Disney and Pixar.
Ooh, boy, that's a lot to unpack.
That is a lot to unpack. I understand that viewpoint. I do.
Oh, for sure. And maybe we'll put a pin in that for a second and we can dissect it for just a moment after all these comments, yeah?
You bet.
All right. Well, moving on, we have an email from Matt. Matt says, Soul's animation is incredible and the cast is mostly superb, but once we got to the hospital scene and I realized where the plot was going, the movie completely lost me. Tina Fey's presence quickly became distracting to the point that anytime she spoke, I just sat there wondering what discussions happened within Pixar that resulted in them deciding this was okay. By the time that plotline was over, I had completely disengaged and had a lot of trouble following the movie from there. My husband says I'm being unfair and overly sensitive, which is fully possible. I am not a person of color, and I recognize that this movie was co-written and co-directed by a black man who must have signed off on Tina Fey's casting, but this choice feels tone-deaf to me. If the producers of Big Mouth, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Central Park, 3 of which are produced by Disney, can come out over the summer and say, hey, it's wrong that we had black characters speaking with white voices, we are recasting to correct this issue, then I would certainly expect more of Pixar. Ultimately, though, I think I owe Soul another shot, especially since it seems like a spiritual successor to Inside Out, which is my absolute favorite Pixar movie. It's clearly striking an emotional chord with people, but it just left me conflicted and confused. I truly don't understand how Joe died the third time. Did he meditate himself to death? I am glad the visual artistry and beautiful music are being celebrated, but I can't help but feel like if it had been released back in June as planned at the height of the BLM protests, this film would have been ripped to shreds. Ooh, boy.
Thank you for sharing those opinions, Matt. As Patrick said, we'll circle back to that, but we have one more Tweedle who submitted feedback. That's Jeff, who you can find on Instagram at FunJeff. Jeff says, hey guys, just listened to your spoiler-free review of Soul after watching the movie last night. Overall, I really liked it, though I would rank it maybe a third of the way down of Pixar films. Coco, Up, Toy Story 3, Inside Out, and WALL-E rank higher off the top of my head. The story was great, the performances were top-notch, the animation was gorgeous, but it just didn't hit me in the feels as much as I've come to expect from Pixar. Additionally, as a New Yorker, I loved the NYC detail. I know almost exactly which block Joe lives on in Long Island City. I've been on those subway platforms and in those trains, and Pizza Rat is a thing. Lastly, like Adam as Carrie Bradshaw would say, oh no, I couldn't help but wonder, as phenomenal as the jazz music is, the movie's called Soul, could they not have played with the double meaning and given us soul music?
Interesting. Well, I can hit on that for a second. So soul music actually technically is jazz music. It's jazz and it's R&B and it's gospel music. So, jazz does fit into soul.
It's a Venn diagram, Patrick, and all of those music types are inside soul.
There you go. Sure, why not? Speaking as professional musicians.
Well, as I said last week, I played trombone for 3 weeks, so I should know.
Yeah, you should know better. You should know better for sure.
So let's talk a little bit then, Patrick, about some of the people who felt kind of more unfavorably towards, not the storyline necessarily, but the casting of a white woman and the use of her voice in certain scenes of the movie.
Yeah, fair enough. I had some time to sort of rewatch the movie and rethink, because you had actually brought up that for some reason or other, Tina Fey didn't necessarily not sit right with you, but you brought up that it didn't have to be Tina Fey in that character, right?
That's right. And that was less due to her race and more just me feeling that I recognized her voice too much.
Fair enough. For me now, giving it a second look, I actually do feel like it is more about her race. And I actually absolutely agree that this could have been, it could have been an Issa Rae. It could have been a Journey Smollett. If I'm saying her name right, I probably just butchered it, but you know who I mean. It could have been it could have been a Mindy Kaling. It could have been anybody other than a white woman who would have fit perfectly into that role. And I wish that they had just done that. And I question why they didn't.
This is not me coming to the defense of the creators of the movie at all, but, this was started long before the kind of horrific events of last summer and the real cultural shift that has taken hold of our country. So in that respect, I understand that perhaps they were too far along in the process, but I agree with what you're saying, Patrick. There's no reason why it couldn't have been someone more diverse voicing 22.
Yeah, I totally understand that and absolutely see it that way as well. But it just goes to show you how we need to be thinking about these things so much more carefully. And we should have been doing that a long time ago. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been an issue.
I know this is never going to happen, but I would love, 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 love to get Pete Docter and Kemp Powers on the podcast and just hear about the conversations. And we know, come on, there's no way they could not have had conversations about this in Pixar, but to kind of just get more of a feeling of how they were approaching this, especially after the events of the last year.
Yes, I would love to have listened in on some of those meetings for the cultural trust that was built for this movie to hear how they felt about it and whether or not it needed to be changed. I know that they did add that joke in there of why her voice was the voice of a middle-aged white woman, and they said because that's the most annoying voice I could think of, and that's a clever way to sort of disguise it. But now that I'm thinking about it, it seems clear that they added that because they knew it was happening.
Right. As soon as that was brought up, I was like, was that Tina Fey being like, you guys, we need to say something in here about why it's me and not someone else?
Exactly. And so you have to sort of do the work of removing yourself from that soul actually being the soul of a white woman and just that soul having the voice of a white woman. But these days, it's hard to do that work, and they should have just done it for us.
Yeah, is that too big of a leap for us to take now? I also wonder, Patrick, if the culture trust that they established focused more on the real life aspects of the movie as opposed to like the kind of broader aspects of character development and character voices. I wonder if they were focused on more of like the granular details that would really kind of convey the life of a black man.
Yeah, that's an interesting take too. All of this, to be clear, that we are, it goes without saying, but we are two white men having this conversation between the two of us. But it is important that these conversations happen. And so I'm glad that we are having the conversation because that's how we move forward, right?
I see myself as more of a ecru man.
Okay. All right. Fair. That's fair.
Maybe a paste. I'm paste.
And I am a translucent man.
Yeah, but what Patrick is saying absolutely applies to this. So please just take our conversation as a way of us taking another look at the film and really examining how we feel about its story and how it handled the character of 22. But we love that all of you wrote in and shared your thoughts with us. It's so important that we're having these conversations, particularly when it comes to something that we're so passionate about.
Yes, 100%. And I will still stick with this is maybe one of my favorite Pixar movies. I think it's still beautiful and wonderful, and I encourage more discussions. I'm happy to have them.
I'm right there with you, Patrick. I said last week this is a masterpiece, and I really do feel that way. Like, it was such a moving story. The message overall and the idea of teaching and sharing really spoke to me. So I hope that it will resonate with others, but I completely understand why we're talking about the things we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. And let's keep the conversation going. If you have thoughts, Tweedledees, keep them coming. We are happy to read them in upcoming episodes. And speaking of feedback, Adam, we have some different feedback to talk about now, yeah?
That's right. We have feedback from last week's Quick D listener submitted question from Jason. Jason brought up the fact that Ming-Na Wen had now appeared in 3 different Disney vehicles, Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel. And he wondered if any other actors had achieved that kind of accomplishment and what that accomplishment should be called, a la EGOT status.
Yes.
Yes. So we heard from Tweedle Denzel, who's been on this very podcast, and you can find him on Instagram at From Washington. Denzel says, Disney-owned trifecta is a disfecta.
I like it. We came up with a distarval.
That's right. And he has proposed a very timely name for this achievement, disfecta.
I like it. It's a little unsettling, but I enjoy it.
Sterile.
It is sterile. It sounds like a superhero villain name, Disfecta.
I like it. It's a she. I'm feeling a she.
Well, however that character wants to identify, Disfecta it is.
She has a very high collar.
I like a dramatic collar. Moving on, we have Patrick writing in again from Instagram at Freshness is Essential. And Patrick says, ooh, I think Lupita may have disdarveled. Uh-oh, better check that out, Lupita. If you count the live-action Jungle Book. And absolutely we count the live-action Jungle Book. So yes, you are correct. Lupita Nyong'o is a disdarvel.
Now, there are 2 ladies I'd like to have cocktails with, Ming-Na Wen and Lupita Nyong'o. I feel like that would be a happy hour to remember.
happy hour to remember for sure. I love watching them in interviews. They don't do a lot of interviews, but when they do, they're very engaging people.
And finally, we heard from Fifi Dubois, the fabulous drag queen Fifi Dubois, who you can find on Instagram at Fifi Dubois DQ. Fifi says, in response to Jason's quick D question, my mind immediately went to Samuel L. Jackson. And yes, I was yelling at my phone whilst listening to you discuss it. He plays Mace Windu in Star Wars, Nick Fury in Marvel, and voices Frozone, thus inducting him into the Destarval universe far before Ming-Na Wen.
Yes, Fifi, thank you. And Adam, I'm frankly ashamed. I'm ashamed by us for not immediately thinking of Samuel L. Jackson.
As a consolation to Samuel L. Jackson, I would like to invite him to my Destarval happy hour with Ming-Na Wen and Lupita Nyong'o.
Perfection. Is he a Disney legend? I don't think that he is, and that seems like an enormous miss.
He is not a Disney legend, Patrick.
That's a shame. That is a crying shame.
And you know what else I was thinking about, Patrick, was do we need to include Pixar in this? So do we need to cover all the houses that Disney is kind of overseeing to make it a true Destarval? And then do we need to add Pixar into this? And then it becomes Destarval?
Well, I think we already are including Pixar because The Incredibles is a Pixar film.
But we don't mention Pixar in Destarval.
Fair. I guess in my head, I combine Pixar and Disney as one. I know that the animation studios are different, but it's still a Disney film, if that makes sense. It's still produced by Disney.
Yeah, but so is Star Wars and Marvel.
I know, but I think of Marvel as its own universe and Lucasfilm as its own universe. So I am sure I will have Tweedledees and Adam disagreeing with me on that.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Patrick. I just want to make sure we're covering all our bases like good podcasters do.
Fair, but then are we having to include 20th Century?
And National Geographic, yes.
And Touchstone and ESPN.
Destarval P and Pixar Graphic.
Yep, it turns into a mess. A
real big mess, so we'll work on it, or we'll just keep it Destarval because it's easier to say and funnier, or we'll change it to Desfecta, Denzel.
I like it. Maybe the award is the Destarval Award, and you are a Desfecta. I'm just trying to please everybody.
I love it. Well, all of you Tweedles who submitted feedback on last week's Quick D question pleased us. Absolutely. We're delighted that you responded with your thoughts. And as a reminder, keep those Quick D questions coming on in. We'll answer anything.
We will indeed. Here's a question for you, Adam. Are you ready for This Week in Disney History?
What if I said no?
I would continue without you.
No.
Here we go. This week in Disney history, I have a theme for you, Adam. We are talking all about Hollywood studios.
Ooh, I love a theme, and I love Hollywood studios.
Well, here you go. You already said no, but we're going to continue anyways. 6 years ago, Adam, on January 7th, 2015, The Sorcerer's Hat begins its deconstruction process in Hollywood studios. It first premiered in the park in 2001 as part of the 100 Years of Magic celebration. It was only intended to remain in the park for 1 year, but was kept up for 14 years. The removal of the hat took over a month to complete.
Now, there are two camps on this, Patrick. There's pro-hat and there's anti-hat. Where do you fall?
I used to be fully in the pro-hat camp, and I was very sad when it came down. But now I actually love all the extra room for activities in Hollywood studios now that it's gone.
So much room for activities.
Exactly. What about you?
I have been anti-hat since the hat first went up, and I appreciated it aesthetically. I thought it looked great, but I'm like, why would you block the Chinese theater? It's so strange.
Yeah, they just fully blocked out what was already a really beautiful view, and I didn't know that until I saw the park without the hat, because my first trip to Disney World, the hat was up.
Do you know where I wish they would have put the hat was out in the courtyard in front of the gates for Disney's Hollywood Studios. There's that kind of planter area. I still wish it was there. It was beautiful when illuminated. Put the hat back up. Just put it out in front of the park.
Yeah, I agree. There is a place for the hat somewhere, but it was not right in front of the Chinese theater.
Agreed.
There's a place for the hat.
You know what? That was not taking the podcast away from Disney, because Disney is releasing West Side Story. So take that.
Yep, listen, that was fully intended. Moving on, Adam, 13 years ago on January 6, 2008, marked the last day Disney used the name Disney's MGM Studios. The next day, the park would officially transition to its new and current name of Disney's Hollywood Studios.
I don't want to get too repetitive in this segment, Patrick, but if there's things that we've covered so far, it's dairy, drag race, and being concise or to the point. And look what they did. They were just like, Disney's Hollywood Studios. Goodbye, MGM.
Goodbye. Goodbye, good night, and good luck to you. Moving on, Adam. 29 years ago, on January 7, 1992, Voyage of the Little Mermaid opened its doors for the very first time in Disney's MGM Studios, now, of course, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the attraction is still open and continues to meh audiences.
And you know what? Same Prince Eric wig as opening day.
It's the very same wig. Very same wig. They haven't touched a moment of that show.
You know what, Patrick? When we're down for the 50th, we need to stop into the Voyage of the Little Mermaid and give it another chance.
I think it's had its time. I think it's run its course. You know, I think it's out to sea now. You know what I mean?
Any other nautical puns you want to make?
I don't know. Nope, that's all I got. That ship has sailed.
There we go.
There it is. There it is. There it is. And that, my friends, was this week in Disney history.
So, Patrick, if you had a choice of either going to watch The Voyage of the Little Mermaid or sharing Disney news with our Tweedles, which would you choose?
I mean, I would choose death over The Little Mermaid, so clearly it's the news.
Wow, that got dark very quickly.
I went there, and now let's go to the news, Adam.
Some sad news to report. Ron Dominguez, known to many as Mr. Disneyland, and a former executive vice president of Disneyland and a Disney legend, passed away on January 1st, 2021. He was 85 years old. Ron was an original Disneyland cast member, but his connection to Disneyland began before the park opened. Patrick, his family owned and lived on 10 acres of orange groves that were purchased by Walt Disney for Disneyland in 1954.
I mean, talk about a dream.
And so strange, right? To be like, this used to be my land and now it's everyone's land.
This used to be my playground.
Wow, that some league of their own realness being served by Patrick.
Work.
According to Ron, the family's home was located where the entrance to Pirates of the Caribbean and Cafe Orleans are today. When his family moved out of their house in August 1954, they had to navigate their way around ditches and holes as construction had already started on the park. Ron's first day on the job at Disneyland was July 13th, 1955, being trained as a ticket taker for the park. It was at that time that he discovered that Walt had moved his family's two-story Spanish-style house behind Main Street, USA, and converted it into administrative offices. Can you even imagine?
What a bonkers time that must have been for him.
So exciting and yet so bizarre to know that your house is now a part of the administrative offices.
Yeah. So strange. I love that they were like, oh, you have to move out tomorrow, and we started construction yesterday. So if you could hurry up, please.
Try not to fall into the giant hole that is the rivers of America on your way out.
Right. We would love to help you, but I'm real busy right now.
A year after he started at Disneyland, he had been trained on every attraction, including the Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland, and was a member of the Order of the Red Handkerchief, the first alumni club at Disneyland dedicated to those who worked on that attraction, which closed in 1977. Later in 1956, he was named a temporary supervisor of Main Street, USA. He moved on to supervisor positions of other areas in the park, and in 1970 was made director of operations. In 1974, he became vice president of Disneyland, and in 1990 was named executive vice president, Walt Disney Attractions for the West Coast. Ron retired from Disneyland in 1994. He was inducted as a Disney legend in 2000 and has a window on Main Street which reads, "Orange Grove Property Management will care for your property as if it were our own. Ron Dominguez, owner."
I love that.
What a connection. I mean, there are so many people we cover on this podcast, Patrick, that have really deep connections to the origins of Disneyland. But Ron clearly has like them beaten in spades. He grew up in Disneyland.
Right. You literally can't be closer to a Disneyland connection than that.
And the next time we visit Disneyland, we'll have to be on the lookout for his window. He seemed like a great guy and just so connected to a park that we love.
That's right. He will be remembered fondly. As we cautiously head into 2021, it's easy to want to set fire to 2020, like Drew Barrymore in Firestarter, and dramatically walk out of frame. But, Adam, there were, in fact, many moments of inspiration that we should remember.
Thank you so much for bringing up Firestarter, Patrick.
I felt like I had to. It just needed to be done, you know?
Truly, Drew Barrymore's pinnacle right there.
It just never got better. Never got better. As we know, Disney itself has had some missteps from the last year, but they also did a crapload of giving, Adam. So here is a snippet of some of the giving from 2020 from Disney. In 2020, globally, Disney donated over 880 tons of food to those in need. They donated 1 million face coverings to MedShare and raised an additional $1 million in sales from face masks to donate to MedShare. 250,000 rain ponchos were donated around the world to healthcare workers who faced a shortage in PPE. Through Shop Disney and Disney stores around the world, 90,000 toys were donated to Toys for Tots. Also during the holidays, Disney World chefs made and served hundreds of Thanksgiving meals for the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida. Disney Cruise Line cast members did the same for hundreds of families in need in the Bahamas. Disneyland Paris cast members created and delivered 50,000 Christmas ornaments to 150 French and Belgian hospitals. Disneyland Resort volunteers provided more than 50 virtual workforce development sessions for hundreds of Anaheim students to help them learn how to create a professional resume. Disneyland Cruise Line awarded 4 scholarships to female cadets to attend the Maritime Academy in Nassau. The scholarships include 2 years of study at LJM Maritime Academy and 1 year of service aboard a Disney ship. Disney World donated thousands of school supplies for teachers and students, and Disneyland and Hong Kong Disneyland each donated over 13,000 toys and activities to local hospitals. On International Children's Day this past June, Shanghai Disney opened a space-themed Disney Funhouse at Shanghai Children's Medical Center. 1 million books have been donated to kids across the country. Through Disney's Make-A-Wish merchandise, $720,000 so far have been raised for Make-A-Wish. And all of this is, of course, on top of the thousands and thousands of volunteer hours from Disney cast members to a range of nonprofit organizations around the world. And this, Adam, as I said, is just a small snapshot of what Disney has done for communities in need in 2020.
On behalf of all of our Tweedles, Patrick, I just want to say thank you for making us aware by sharing that snapshot of the crapload. Is that what you said?
Yes, 1 crapload of giving.
1 giant crapload of giving that Disney did last year.
That's right. That's right. Good job, Disney. That was 1 crap of a good job, you know? In a December 30th Orlando Business Journal article, president of Walt Disney World, Jeff Volley, was profiled as one of the publication's 2020 Game Changers, a group of key figures in the tourism industry who are critical to its recovery. Volley, a 30-year cast member who most recently served as president of Disney Signature Experiences, is responsible for all facets of business for Walt Disney World Resort, including its 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, 28 resort hotels, 4 golf courses,
ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex, and the Disney Springs Entertainment, Shopping, and Dining Complex. His tenure so far has been rocky, to say the least, with over 17,000 Walt Disney World cast members furloughed or laid off due to the impacts of the park's closure. Moving into the new year, Vali and his team must rebuild the Walt Disney World workforce. In the Orlando Business Journal profile, Vali outlined 4 of his benchmarks for the company in 2021, including operating the parks and resorts responsibly. To that, Vali commented, quote, "The health and well-being of everyone is at the forefront of planning," end quote. He also highlighted rebuilding the business from the impacts of 2020, preparing for Walt Disney World Resort's 50th anniversary, and, Patrick, celebrating cast members. Vali stated they will be at the heart of the park's momentum around the resort's golden anniversary. So despite everything that happened last year, Patrick, it's great to hear that cast members are going to be at the center of the resort's 50th anniversary.
Yeah, it's nice to hear him make a declaration of that magnitude. I hope it's hope inspiring, I guess, for the cast members who are wanting so badly to come back.
I'm already preparing, Patrick, to say thank you so much for everything you do the next time I'm in the parks.
Well, perhaps, Adam, we need to create a Gaze to the D thank you cast members t-shirt.
Perhaps.
You're not on board with that, it seems?
I was thinking more of like a bolero jacket.
Much more sensible.
Perhaps some culottes that say thank you cast members down one leg.
I'm into it. I can be persuaded.
A large brimmed sun hat with thank you cast members written on the brim.
Okay, now we're going backwards in good ideas. We're going in reverse here.
Stay tuned, Tweedles. A complete thank you cast member collection coming to our store this year.
Well, Adam, in keeping on theme with the 50th anniversary, the D23 Gold Member Gift for 2021 has been announced, and this is the year to join if you aren't already a member. This year's set celebrates 50 years of Walt Disney World. Included in the set is a D23 Vacation Kingdom lunchbox designed by Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly. The lunchbox is inspired by the fan favorite lunchbox from 1973, featuring Mickey, Donald, Chip, and Dale, icons from all 4 Disney World parks, and Figment. Next up is a pin set called Florida's Fab 5, again designed by Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly. The 5 retro-style pins feature Orange Bird, Henry the Bear from Country Bear Jamboree, Figment, R3X, aka Captain Rex, from the original Star Tours, and the Yeti from Expedition Everest. Next, we have a D23 official Disney Fan Club pennant. The pennant was designed by Brett Iwan, the official voice of Mickey Mouse. It's a full-size pennant featuring the main mouse himself and Cinderella Castle in the background with a retro color scheme of deep reds, pinks, and purples. Gold members will also get a 50 Years of Walt Disney World Then and Now vinyl record. The 7-inch red record will play the 1971 Bear Band Serenade from Country Bear Jamboree on one side, and Nothing Can Stop Us Now from Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway on the other side. And lastly, each gift set will come with a Walt Disney World newspaper. The paper is a 2021 tribute to the original Walt Disney World news publication. In it will be a welcome letter from head of D23, Michael Vargo, a retrospective on the origins of Walt Disney's Florida project, and a tribute to 50 favorite things found at Walt Disney World written by the staff of D23 and the Walt Disney Archives. If you aren't already a gold member, you can head on over to d23.com now and join. Memberships are $99.99 per year for an individual and $129.99 a year for the duo plan. On top of the amazing annual gift, gold members also get access to D23 gold member events, both in person and virtual, throughout the year, and a 4-issue subscription to the quarterly D23 publication. If you are already a member, your gift will be sent at the time of your annual renewal. And I'll tell you what, I am clearly, Adam, as you know, a sucker for subscription boxes. But I have to say, this one with this gift is absolutely worth it if you're a Disney fan, which I imagine we have a few listeners who are Disney fans.
The amount of promotion we give to D23, I don't know, Patrick, they owe us.
It's true. We should be presidents of D23 by now.
What is calling to you from this subscriber set?
That lunchbox, I'll tell you what, is delightful looking. It's a full-size lunchbox. It's beautiful. The artwork on it is fantastic. I am here for that lunchbox.
It is so adorable. You know, Patrick, I heard that the Yeti pin was actually supposed to have a moving part on it, but it stuck.
Too soon. Too soon, Adam.
What do you mean? What? No.
Joe Rody, we need you back.
Patrick, now that we've closed the book on 2020, it's time to look ahead and to be excited.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that level of enthusiasm from you, but I love it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the new year, Adam.
All right, here for the new year, having fun in 2021. And today, I thought for our feature segment, we could have a conversation about what we're most excited about, what we're most looking forward to when it comes to all things Disney.
Well, Adam, I am most excited about this conversation, about a conversation about Disney. I've lost the thread already.
It's like Inception. There's so many levels to that.
It's an onion, that's for sure. No, I'm actually very excited about the conversation. There are so many things to look forward to in 2021. As we all know, one being leaving our houses.
I mean, fingers crossed.
It'll happen. I'm very, very optimistic about 2021.
We know there are so many of you Tweedles out there who have been kind of sitting on your hands just waiting to get back into a Disney park. It's going to happen this year. But on top of every amazing thing that's going to be available to us when we return to Disney parks, we also have things like fantastic new movies coming out, series coming to Disney Plus, and then miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous, indeed. You read the show notes.
I certainly did, Patrick. You were smart enough to categorize these, and you know what? That was a good call, my friend.
Miscellaneous/other.
I can't wait to talk about miscellaneous/other.
It's the best category around.
So let's start this discussion, Patrick, by talking about some of the attractions we are most excited about experiencing.
I like it. Start with a big one.
Let's do it. And then let's just kind of let this segment slowly peter out like helium just being released from the nozzle of a balloon.
What a picture you've painted for us, Adam.
Remember when I started this segment and everything was so exciting?
And we're already getting ready for it to peter out.
I feel like it's the poltergeist of 2020 just hanging onto my body, and I cast it out, Patrick.
Listen, it's important to have optimism, but it's also important to level set your expectations as well.
Thanks, Dad.
And no one comes to our podcast with a lower expectation than I do, Adam.
I would hope that all of our Tweedles at this point have learned to really set expectation levels at their lowest.
Fair enough. Well, let's dig in, Adam. Let's go to the Disney parks, shall we?
Yes, excitement level clicking back up. Here we go.
Well, what's first on your list?
The first attraction that I'm truly excited to experience is something that is already opened, and I just haven't been able to experience it yet because I've been trapped in this closet recording this podcast for almost a year now. And I'm talking about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Patrick.
Yes, absolutely. That is on my list as well. Something that's been open for a while, as you said, but neither of us have had the pleasure of experiencing it.
So sad. It opened in March of 2020, and then it kind of just had to close right after that. It's now currently reopened again, and we've had so many of our friends and Tweedles who have experienced that attraction and have just loved it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, and I imagine it'll still be so new and relatively untouched by the time we get there that it'll still look and smell like a new attraction for us.
Completely disinfected, yes.
Exactly.
Patrick, do you think you're going to cry a single tear over the loss of the Great Movie Ride?
I will not. I will not cry a single tear.
So this will be an improvement for you then?
Having nothing there at all was an improvement for me.
Ouch.
Listen. I will not be moved on this, Adam.
No, I agree. That attraction needed to go. It needed to go, and there's no better attraction to replace it than a Mickey and Minnie, really a Sensational Six themed attraction.
Whereas the Great Movie Ride was a celebration, it's a very loose term, of movies. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a celebration of Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, I can't wait to experience it. I can't wait to ride it over and over again. I think it's going to become a true classic attraction, not only because it features Mickey and Minnie, but because it holds such a special place in that park. It's, within one of the icons of Hollywood studios.
Yes, for sure. It'll be a heavy hitter for years and years to come. Well, I'll move on with my first on this list of Disney attractions and not talk about a mouse, but a rat instead. Adam, I am very excited about Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
It's going to be delicious, Patrick.
I don't recommend eating it. I don't think it's real, but you should give it a go.
Coming to Epcot sometime in 2021.
Yes, we have been given confirmation officially that it will be opening in 2021. Now, listen, kids, things change, so who can say? But according to D23, according to Disney Parks blog, they are going to be opening Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, hopefully before the 50th anniversary.
What are you most excited about within this attraction?
I don't know that I'm excited about one specific thing. I just love a new ride. I am a sucker for dark rides as well. I love a storybook ride. I think the trackless aspect of it, like the sort of shrinking down and being on a trackless ride, it all sounds very exciting, and the new wave of dark rides for us here in the United States anyways.
Yeah, this has been so popular in Disneyland Paris, and people who have taken trips over there have commented on how it's one of their favorite attractions they've ever experienced. So it'll be fun to finally have it here in the States. And I agree with you, Patrick. I like things in miniature, and I like to be miniature. So if it's one of those two iterations, I'm all in.
Yeah, the extremes of size for sure.
I like to feel dainty,
Mm-hmm. I do absolutely know. Here's the one thing I will say about it is that I'm not super excited about the prospect of the World Showcase turning into a rides land. I sort of enjoy the calmness of it, and I think adding too many attractions will make it too crowded because it's not a huge area, right? It's already sort of sparse for sitting and viewing and all that stuff. So I hope that they don't add a ride for every country.
That's such a valid point, and I agree with you. There's something so kind of romantic and relaxing about being able to stroll around World Showcase and not necessarily have a destination or something you're racing to get on. So I get that feeling, and like you, Patrick, I agree. I hope that Disney really tempers themselves when it comes to adding IP and large-scale attractions into the pavilions.
I think 3 feels like a good balance, sort of one at the beginning, one toward the end, and one sort of in the middle of the World Showcase. Feels like a good balance to me.
Yes. Having said that, we know that there are some movies coming out relatively soon that feature fabulous locations from around the world. So we'll see what comes of those. But I think you're right, Patrick. I think World Showcase needs to be kept at a certain level, if that makes sense. And that level needs to be,
Yeah, fully understand that.
Well, let's just stay in World Showcase while we're at it, Patrick, because one of the attractions I'm so excited about is Harmonious, the new nighttime spectacular coming to Epcot.
Yes, I think this tops everyone's list of things they're excited about for the Disney parks. Harmonious is, or has, great expectations behind it, that's for sure.
We know it's coming sometime in 2021.
Yes. From what I'm reading, it may not happen before the 50th, but they're trying. They're for sure trying.
And what I love about this, aside from the fact that it's one of the largest nighttime spectaculars that's ever been created for a Disney park, is that it also has a use during the daytime because those large barges, all I can think about is large barge when I say large barge. Those large barges are going to have practical water features that are going to be implemented during the daytime in World Showcase Lagoon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a visual feast during the day and especially at night.
And really important, too, because we lost the Fountain of Nations last year due to the construction in Epcot. So it'll be nice to have that kind of epic, large-scale water feature in the middle of the park.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
And I'm super excited for the technology that's going to be involved. We know that there's those giant LED panels that are included. We know that it's going to feature musicians from around the world and their reinterpretations of classic Disney music.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited about the music for this one, which I think is sort of how I feel about most nighttime spectaculars if I really break it down at a Disney park. Yes, the visuals are usually outstanding, and yes, the fireworks are brilliant, but it's the music that really gets into your soul for Disney.
What's going to make you cry?
What's going to make you cry, and that is a acoustic version of When You Wish Upon a Star. Every time.
All right. So that is on your wish list for Harmonious, When You Wish Upon a Star, acoustic.
Yep. Again, I keep my expectations very low, Adam.
If it's not included, are we going to have a tantrum?
We are. It'll be like that first fireball scene from the old spectacular in Epcot.
Illuminations, Patrick Kazuki style.
I've already forgotten the word illuminations. That's how long it's been.
Well, hopefully this will be a real successful successor to Illuminations. They're incorporating a lot more IP into this, but I hope it'll be done in a way that really kind of pays homage to the idea of World Showcase.
That seems to be the inspiration, at least, for sure. Well, moving on and keeping in theme with visuals, Adam, though not an attraction, I am actually very excited about seeing the new entrance to Epcot.
Oh, you're speaking to my very soul right now, Patrick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it before that you could say it, so I beat you to it.
You know what? I didn't even put it on my list because I thought I talked about it so much over the course of the last year that people might be sick of hearing about it.
Well, it can't be talked about enough. I've only seen renderings and a few photos of what's happening already, and it looks stunning. I imagine it's absolutely breathtaking in person.
You've seen the fountain, right?
I mean, come on.
As a gay man, that fountain calls to me with its glorious crystal-like lucite and its changing colors and flowing waters.
My hope for 2021 is that we don't go through an episode of Gaze to the D without the use of the word lucite.
All right. Well, is that what you're most excited about in 2021?
I'm most excited about hearing lucite every week.
I can make that happen for you. Wish granted.
I know you can. I didn't even have to ask for it. It would have happened naturally, I'm sure.
It would have. Yes, I totally agree with this choice, Patrick. I think having a more kind of natural entrance into Epcot is the way to go. I know that they've kind of upped their game when it comes to landscaping in that area. They've taken out the tombstones that used to be there and really opened up that space to kind of provide a better flow into the park.
Yeah, they've definitely gone with a more welcoming and open approach to entering Epcot as opposed to sort of a closed off, go through a maze of granite tombstones, and then you get to the park.
I would say it's an improvement, Patrick.
It's 100% an improvement.
Yeah, I can't wait to experience that. And you know what else, too, Patrick, while we're on that subject? Leaving at the end of the night, if you happen to be leaving that way too, and seeing that fountain lit up and just having that be kind of your last glimpse of the park, I think is going to be so special.
Yeah, before you sort of had to find a very specific spot to take a picture while you're leaving Epcot. You had to sort of dodge all these big monuments and trees that are randomly scattered throughout. And so now it feels like it's a lot more photo friendly.
And that's all that really matters. Selfies.
That's all that matters for sure.
You have to prove that you were there. That's an excellent choice, Patrick. I'm going to move on to a show. We know that shows are in short supply right now in Walt Disney World. We hope that many will be returning, but one we know that for sure is coming in 2021 is the new Cirque du Soleil show Drawn to Life at Disney Springs.
That's right. We, in fact, just got word that they are planning to have their final premiere. Not final premiere. That's an oxymoron of a sentence. They are finally having their premiere in 2021.
Opening and closing night.
Well, that was kind of the case before.
Yes, this is the first of its kind creative collaboration between Disney and Cirque du Soleil. And that's notable because the other Cirque du Soleil show that had been there before, which I can't even recall the name of, I never saw it, but this one has Disney's involvement with it. So it's going to feature Disney music. It's going to feature Disney characters. It's going to have that Disney hug that so many of us want when we're in the parks or in Disney Springs.
Yes, and it brings together two of our favorite things, right, Adam? Las Vegas and Disney World.
3 of our favorite things, Las Vegas, Disney World, and male acrobats.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be absolutely stunning and maybe a must-do when you're there in Disney World.
If it's open for the 50th, Patrick, we should consider catching it while we're down there. I think this sounds like a wonderful way to kind of kick off your trip. You know, if you fly in that day and are looking for something to do that evening, maybe grab dinner in Disney Springs and check out Drawn to Life.
I love that idea. I'm on board fully.
Who am I, an authorized Disney travel planner?
What is your name, Chris?
I could change it just like that.
You should. You already stole his handle, didn't you? Are you the one who owns Wishful Thinking?
Sorry, Chris.
Sorry about it. Well, I have another show I want to add to our list, Adam, of things that I think that I'm going to do in 2021 for the first time in Walt Disney World, assuming they make the update, is the Hall of Presidents. Adam, I want to see Joe Biden in the Hall of Presidents.
You're blowing my mind right now, Patrick, not because of the mention of soon-to-be President Biden, but because of the fact that you are willing to take the leap and experience this classic attraction.
Well, I do it for my country.
Thank you for your service.
You're so welcome.
Have you ever watched Hall of Presidents on YouTube?
Yes, I've seen videos of it on YouTube, and I have seen great moments with Mr. Lincoln. Is that what it's called in Disneyland? Long ago, long ago. But I've never actually been inside of the Hall of Presidents building.
This is going to be a true moment for this podcast when you give your review of the Hall of Presidents.
Well, let's just put it on Instagram Live, you know?
Done.
What a moment. What a real moment for us.
We'll turn it into a TikTok, as the kids do.
I'm here for it. I'm going to be on the TikToks. Is that what they say? I'm on the TikToks.
Make it plural. Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. Hall of Presidents, Joe Biden. Here we come.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope I'm sitting next to you when you experience that for the first time.
I hope this is high on Joe Biden's priority list.
That's a great point, Patrick. Disney usually does get in there quite early when someone's been elected to record their voice.
And as we all know, the last president of the United States took a long time to get in there. They did sneak him in, but it's time to renovate that.
I wonder if there's like a meltdown feature for certain animatronics.
Oh, we digress.
You're right, though. He is a
What else you got for me, Adam?
All right, well, we'll stay in Disney World for the time being because I would like to head over to Disneyland. But, Patrick, I don't know if this is going to be coming in 2021. Probably not. I think it's been delayed. But I'm still going to bring it up. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this as well, Adam. But I have a feeling it's not going to be ready.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry about it. I think we're going to be disappointed if we are expecting that or the Tron roller coaster to be open before 2022.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for our trip for the 50th, neither will be open. Fingers crossed. But I will say this, Patrick. I am less excited about this than I was for Rise of the Resistance, but I think this is going to be more exciting than Rise of the Resistance is.
More of a thrill ride for sure.
Is it? I mean, they've been billing it now as like a family-friendly coaster.
But I think all coasters in Disney World are family-friendly.
Okay, so like even Rock and Roller Coaster is considered family-friendly?
Right. There are height restrictions on many of the coasters, but they are still, I believe, because it's a family theme park, I think they still label them family-friendly attractions.
Got it. I'm really interested to see what the storytelling elements for Cosmic Rewind are going to be. Like, I keep envisioning Space Mountain, but like the next level of Space Mountain.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that could be for sure.
With more ride vehicle turning and probably more acceleration.
Right. So not the same at all.
Not the same at all.
No, it's going to be an exciting attraction for sure. And who knows, maybe Disney is just playing it very safe, but they have been leaving it off of all of the lists that include 2021 openings.
Why did I even bring it up?
Because it's an exciting attraction to look forward to.
It is. I can't wait to experience it. And you know the music that they're going to tie to it is going to be excellent.
Oh, 100%. A good mixtape for sure.
All right, Patrick, where are we going next?
Well, let's leap on over to Disneyland, shall we? Or are we sticking around Disney World for anything specific?
I'm done with Disney World.
I'm done with it. There are many things that I'm looking forward to for Disney World, but I think we've already talked about everything exciting that will for sure happen in 2021.
And some that probably won't. Gosh darn it.
Who knows? Who even knows? But let's go over to Disneyland, where I think you and I are both very excited about Marvel's Avengers Campus.
You know, I've always thought of myself as a superhero, but I think I'm going to be truly tested once I enter Avengers Campus.
I agree. I think we're all going to be tested. You're testing me right now, in fact.
It wouldn't be a GDTD recording if I wasn't testing you.
That's right. We all should get tested before we go to the parks as well. Just putting that out there.
Several levels of tests. COVID tests, STDs.
Especially if you're going to go to the Marvel's Avengers Campus, you know what I mean? I mean, there's some people I'd like to test out over there.
Yeah, if you'd like to fully enjoy that experience, make sure you're tested.
Other than that, what are you looking forward to most in the Avengers Campus?
I am looking forward to the show elements that they're bringing. I really want to see like the choreographed fights that are going to be happening above the Avengers headquarters. And I'm really, really curious if we're going to be seeing, as kind of hinted at so far, the kind of web-slinging Spider-Man flying over our heads.
Yeah, same here. I'm excited about sort of the stunt show of it all.
Anywhere you go is a stunt show, Patrick.
The fact that I am upright past 5 p.m. is a real stunt spectacular.
Now that is a spectacular, yes. What about the Web Slingers attraction?
I don't know enough about this attraction to be that excited about it, because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a little bit like the Toy Story ride, maybe Midway Mania, which is fun, don't get me wrong, and maybe it'll be a lot better than that, but my hopes aren't super high for it. I think it'll be a fun attraction, but not a game-changing attraction. I hope I eat my words on that.
We know that there's a game kind of element to it where you're going to be firing at things. And we know that you're in this vehicle that I assume is going to be similar to the Spider-Man attraction at Universal Studios in Orlando, or the Transformers attraction where you kind of approach different screens and the screen then fully fills the viewing area of your ride vehicle.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a mix of practical and screen visual effects, which I think will be really cool. I think it's about time Disney starts implementing those. But like I said, I know that they're going for a very family-friendly aspect to this one, so I don't know that we should expect to have our minds blown by this attraction.
Again, tempering our expectations. We appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you so much. But like I said, I hope that I am pleasantly surprised, and I hope I eat my words on that, and I'm fully aghast by it.
We also know there's going to be Pym Test Kitchen, which is going to have large and small foods, I guess.
There you go. Playing with size again. Extremes.
You're right. Thank you, Disney.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this whole land in general, I think it's exciting when a new land opens, you know?
Yeah. And Marvel is obviously such a huge part of Disney now. So many people are extreme Marvel fans, and it'll be fun to kind of live in that world.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we'll only be able to see, for the time being anyways, Spider-Man in Disneyland. If they do a Marvel's aspect for Disney World, I don't think they're allowed to use Spider-Man.
I don't think they're even allowed to refer to it as Marvel. I don't know the full like contractual jargon or like what was determined could be usable or not. But because Marvel appears in Universal Studios in Orlando, I think Disney is not allowed to use Marvel IP in their parks.
Yeah, there's a lot of jargon behind it all, but we'll have Disneyland to look forward to if you want to see some Marvel attractions or go overseas, I guess.
Well, sticking in Disneyland, Patrick, I'm going to bring up something that, again, has already started, but then had to shut down, and that's the Magic Happens Parade.
Oh, so exciting.
This was, again, opened just before the kind of shutdown occurred in our country and hasn't yet relaunched in Disneyland because, obviously, Disneyland is not open. But this is something I was so looking forward to seeing and still am. I'm really excited to experience this kind of new version of a Disney parade.
Yes, same here. If folks will remember, kind of right when the shutdown happened, one of the first things Disney released was a full walkthrough of that parade, and it was really magical and beautiful.
Yeah, I love the music. I love the colors. It seems like an updated kind of take on the magic of Disney.
Exactly. We're seeing classic and new characters. It's a really beautiful mix.
And floats that kind of hearken to the international parks, I feel like. Like, these are more kind of large-scale illuminated floats, whereas, Disneyland is a smaller park, so typically they've had to kind of condense their parades, but they really seem to kind of embrace the grandeur of a Disney parade with Magic Happens.
Yeah, it feels like a spectacle, which I love from Disney.
That's all we want from Disney is more spectacle, please.
100%, yes.
So that kind of wraps up the things that I'm most looking forward to this year when it comes to visiting a Disney park or resort, Patrick.
Me too.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, as we said, there's a lot in the works for Disney for sure, but these are the things that we have been told, at least, will be happening in 2021.
Shall we move on to movies, Patrick?
I wish we would.
What movie that Disney is releasing this year is really calling to you?
So many, actually, so many movies. But I think topping my list for 2021 will be Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yes, coming in March.
Coming in March, absolutely. It looks so stunning, so beautiful. And you know how I love sort of a mystical fantasy kind of a movie, and this is hitting that for sure. I'm sure it's going to be very emotional, as Disney movies are wont to be. And though it's set in a fictional world, it's clear that they're pulling inspiration from sort of a Southeast Asian aesthetic and culture, which is stunning and beautiful and haunting. I'm so excited for this.
It covers a lot of the things that we want from a Disney movie, right? Like, it's got the mysticism attached to it. It's got a culture that we're not necessarily familiar with. It's got action, adventure, and a stellar voice cast.
Yes. Speaking of, I love Kelly Marie Tron, and I think her voice is so sweet and fits in really nicely from what I've seen anyways from the trailers. I'm really excited. I hope that this is sort of a redemption story for her with Disney. I know a lot of fans were not on board with her character, at least in Star Wars, which I disagree with, but I loved her, and I hope fans will re-fall in love with her with this movie.
Yeah, she's kind of very unfairly been put through the ringer, regardless of what you thought of her performance in the new Star Wars trilogy. People were so mean to her.
Yes, they were unreasonably mean to her.
It's like some of our fans, and I'm like, you know what? We're just trying to put some good things out into the universe.
People are reasonably mean to us, though. I get it.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, Patrick, I am looking forward to, I think, a live action movie coming from Disney this year. It was meant to come out last year, but I'm talking about Jungle Cruise.
Interesting. Okay.
As I kind of referenced when we were talking about Raya and the Last Dragon, I love an action adventure movie, and I love kind of an Indiana Jonesy-esque story, which I'm kind of pulling from this, but there are some concerns with this movie as well.
One or two.
Namely, the character played by Jack Whitehall, which we don't really know how that's going to play out, but apparently he's very effeminate in the way he presents himself. Who knows? I guess we'll get into that when we give our review of Jungle Cruise, which is coming out on July 30th.
Here's what I'll say. Listen, there are certainly gay men and straight men out there who are very feminine in nature, and that is fine. That is part of the spectrum and the beauty of human nature, right? There is just some cause for concern sometimes when it's a straight man putting on that act as though that's how all gay people act.
That's right. We'll just have to see how it's portrayed and how it's handled.
Yeah, hopefully someone in the room is saying, this feels fine to me, and hopefully they are a trusted individual who's saying that. Remains to be seen.
Beyond that, Patrick, Emily Blunt. Come on, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt indeed. Need we say more?
Well, The Rock, I'm going to say more. Dwayne Johnson is her co-star, and apparently, and from what I've seen in the trailer too, they do seem to have like some excellent chemistry.
Who can say who's doing all the heavy lifting on that? I'm going to go ahead and say it myself. It's Emily Blunt.
Despite The Rock's muscles, yeah, it's probably Emily Blunt doing the heavy lifting.
Exactly. Listen, I like Dwayne Johnson. I it took me a journey to get to liking him. I don't know what it is. He just rubs me the wrong way a little bit still. I'm still not sold on him as an actor or a comedic actor.
Is it his kind of bravado, you think?
I don't know what it is. There's just something that's like, are you an actor or are you just here collecting a paycheck? I don't know.
Is he great to look at, great smile, and that's it?
Right. Are we laughing because it's this big man behaving like a younger dope? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just something like, are you really funny or is it funny because you're a large man? Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's what people say when they are talking about me on this podcast?
Okay. All right. That being said, loved his performance in Moana. So there you go.
There you go. He obviously has a connection to Disney, as does Emily Blunt. So anyway, Jungle Cruise, I'm looking forward to it. You know what? I need to go in with no expectations and just sit back and try to enjoy that ride.
I like it. The Jungle Cruise, expect nothing.
All right, Patrick, what else? Any other movies you're like chomping at the bit to see?
Well, I'm interested in knowing more, I think, about Luca, which is supposedly coming out in June of 2021. I'm 150 million% sure that this is going to be a beautiful, stunning visual treat because it's set in sort of an Italian countryside, and with Pixar animating that, I'm certain it's going to be one of the more beautiful movies we've seen from Pixar to date. That being said, we don't know much about the story yet, so hard to give a real good sell on this right now.
It's interesting. They keep referencing the kind of very mundane elements of the film, like two boys summer in the Italian Riviera, and they experience gelato and friendship, but they have a dark secret.
Yes, indeed. And here's what's interesting. We have not really seen anything from this movie, and it's supposedly opening in about 6 months from now.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know from Pixar, they work up until the very last moment.
Yes, but they also tease us pretty far in advance, and we haven't really seen much yet.
That's a good point. Where's that trailer for Luca?
It must be coming soon. That's what I'm hoping.
Just two CGI kids eating gelato.
I'd watch it if it's pretty enough.
Yeah, Patrick, you're right, though. We know at least that will be beautiful to look at. Another film that'll probably be beautiful to look at and is coming later in 2021 is Encanto.
Yes, indeed.
This one has the added benefit of being a musical. And not only is it a musical, it includes songs by Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Award winner Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Who knew he would be such a success story for Disney?
So talented. What he did for Moana was just fantastic. So I have really high expectations. I'll say it. Yeah, high expectations for this one. I can't wait to hear the music. And just what they presented during Disney Investor Day was so visually beautiful. I hope that the entire film has that kind of magical, colorful, otherworldliness to it.
For sure. I think what I'm looking forward to for this movie, and going back to Luca, I think Disney and Pixar are on the precipice of finding another voice, or just sort of altering how they tell stories. And we're seeing it slowly happen. We just saw it happen with Soul, where they are exploring not only new stories, but also new ways to tell stories, and the process in which it takes to bring an idea to a fully animated movie. I'm interested to see what happens in 2021 and beyond. It sounds like, or it looks like, Disney and Pixar are both growing up a little bit.
Yeah, and we kind of referenced this a little bit, Patrick, during our review of Onward, how it didn't necessarily feel like a Pixar film. And I was questioning why we said that. We said that a little bit about Soul, although Soul felt more Pixar-y to me. But I think the reason might be, and I may be wrong about this, was that we had so many sequels for so long from Pixar. It was just like things we had kind of already experienced, worlds we had already explored. So now that they're creating these new worlds for us to enjoy, it's just kind of like expanding the horizon of what Pixar can bring us.
Absolutely agree. And gone are the days when you can just simply tell a princess story, right? People need more. They need more meat to their story. They need something to relate to with their story. And as bonkers as the past few years have been, it's harder and harder to tell a story that seems wild and fantastical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it takes that much more effort to impress audiences, not only in story, but in technology as well. You know, we've seen amazing things come out of Pixar, so our expectations are just that much higher now.
Right. And sometimes what is wild for Disney and fantastical is actually settling down into the quietness of a story. Some of my favorite scenes from Soul this past year were those really just touching moments when it was just him and his mother, or he and another character just relating to each other, though maybe not stimulating to a child, definitely kept my attention and made me want more from that style of storytelling.
Get out of my brain and my heart, Patrick. I felt the same way. Anything else from you regarding movies coming out this year?
Yeah, I'll give a general shout out, I think, to the upcoming Shang-Chi and the Eternals. Both are sort of part of phase 4 for the Marvel Universe. And I'm interested to see how all of that is handled.
Yeah, I'll second your Eternals remark. I don't know what to expect from that, but the cast that they've lined up for it is exceptional. So I'm really intrigued, not only about what the movie's going to be about, but like the feel of it and how they're going to fit into the universe that's already been established.
Yes, same for Shang-Chi, which is coming out earlier. It's coming out in July, I believe. There's a lot of talk about what they're going to tie into it. Some people think that he might be the first of the new Marvels, sort of inducted into the new Marvels gang, as it were. And some are saying there might be a Doctor Strange crossover there. So who knows? But I'm very excited about it.
All right, Patrick, let's move on then to Disney Plus, shall we?
We shall indeed. So much coming at us in 2021.
I'll start with something that's coming very soon in 2021 and something that we've both mentioned as a series that we're incredibly excited for, and that's WandaVision.
WandaVision. You know?
I do know. It's coming out on January 15th, and it's going to be in 6 installments. And again, the cast in this looks exceptional, and it seems to be exploring a much deeper emotional story than the previews make us aware. I don't know how to say it, but it seems like there's going to be some really very important connections made in this series.
Yeah, the previews are sort of all over the map as far as what we should expect from this show, which in my head now goes, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it appears that Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and Vision, played by Paul Bettany, are kind of going through these sitcom-style lives through various decades. But is that really happening? Who knows what's going on? Are they being tricked? I don't know.
Who knows? What we do know is it's got an amazing cast. Obviously, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, but also we have Kat Dennings, who I love. We have Kathryn Hahn, who is one of my favorite comedic actresses joining the cast, and the beautiful and talented Tiana Paris.
Kathryn Hahn can do anything. She's like the new Meryl Streep to me.
She can deliver a funny line like nobody else.
But she can also be very dramatic.
For sure. It's wild how talented she is.
Also, Randall Park is appearing in that series, too. He's going to be reprising his role from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So that makes me think, what's going on here? Something's going on here.
I think we're going to have a lot of crossover happening.
And as you mentioned with Shang-Chi, there's rumors that this series is going to be directly tied to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, too.
Love it. I'm here for all of it.
So yeah, that's my first choice, the thing I'm most excited for. Fortunately, we don't have long to wait. I can't wait to talk about it on the podcast, WandaVision.
I'm going to fast forward a bit in time in 2021. This is coming out later in the year, but Ms. Marvel, I think, is going to be something to watch out for.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
We don't know a ton about what we're going to see, but we do know that we are getting the character Kamala Khan, who is a 16-year-old and for the very first time, a Pakistani-American character for the Marvel Universe.
Just keep expanding that universe, y'all.
Please keep expanding it if these are the characters you're going to bring to us. It's going to be incredible. I know that she's not widely known in the Marvel Universe for sort of Marvel neophytes, I guess, but she is a very well-known character for those who have been Marvel fans for a while.
And I think we'll speak to a group of Marvel fans, or maybe not Marvel fans, honestly, who maybe haven't been catered to in past films and series. You know, not only is there the amazing aspect of her diversity being brought to the series, but also the fact that she's a teen girl.
Yes, absolutely. I'm getting sort of, not to compare it because she has her own storyline for sure, but sort of a Spider-Man aspect to it in that it's a character who's newly coming into powers and also going through a puberty, basically, right?
Oh my God, talk about opposing forces.
Yes, indeed. And just to dig in a little bit more on what you were saying, it is so exciting to see these diverse characters coming to life in huge major ways, not just in sort of secretive, small background character ways. We're finally allowing everyone in the world and the United States, of course, to see themselves represented on film as a superhero.
Yeah. And it's going to be exciting to see her character then introduced into the feature films that Marvel's producing. We know that this character is just being introduced on Disney Plus and then will go on to play a larger role in the cinematic universe.
That's right. Yeah, the TV show will just sort of be a launching pad into her Marvel career, I guess.
Her marvelous career.
Hey-oh.
And speaking of marvelous careers, Patrick, another series I'm going to bring up, Loki.
For sure. I kind of only have Marvel shows on my list of things I'm most excited for.
Honestly, those are like the really big things that are coming out on Disney Plus this year.
It's true. And Loki looks outstanding.
It's scheduled to come out in May. And like WandaVision, it's going to be 6 kind of hour-long episodes. And the cast, again, is amazing. And the time frame of when this series takes place is so fascinating because it actually takes us back in time a bit to when Loki disappeared with a Tesseract in Avengers Endgame.
Which I'm glad they brought that back to my attention because in my head I was thinking, how are they going to make this happen? Didn't he die in Endgame? Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody, but there you go. You've had some time to see it.
Did he die before Endgame? When did he die?
Oh gosh, people are going to come for me on this one. Now I can't remember exactly, but he did. He did in fact expire.
He did, but it'll be fun to see Tom Hiddleston back again. I mean, this character is forever tied to him. He really was the first Marvel villain and one that people were so passionate about and had such fun with the role. So it'll be fun to see him return to play this role. I read an interview, Patrick, with him, and he was commenting on how he spent a decade now playing Loki, and he was like 28 or 29 when he started, and now he's 40. So it's been such important role for his career, and he said he's really enjoyed the entire experience.
I imagine so. This character is kind of like, and I don't want to compare it too much because they're very different acting characters, but sort of like the Mandalorian in the journey of, am I a villain? Am I a good guy? Can I be both at the same time?
Interesting, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and the cast, as you said, looks stellar. I'm not familiar with a lot of the cast, but it's a very diverse and enormous cast, it looks like. So I'm excited to get to know these new actors to me and new characters to me as well.
I was surprised to see Owen Wilson pop up.
Owen Wilson, indeed, looking lovely.
Oh, I prefer Luke.
Owen Wilson all the way.
All right, well, we won't have to share them then.
Thank goodness. Finally. And I guess we ought to mention, Adam, the Book of Boba Fett.
Why not? Yes.
Why not mention it? I am hesitant to be very excited about this. Do you know what I mean? It's got Ming-Na Wen in it, and that, for me, is all I need, really. But I'm still not sold on this character's new storyline, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get it. I like the character, and I like what the actor did with the character in The Mandalorian. His name escapes me right now. I apologize. But are we heading in a direction that's just more Mandalorian? So now suddenly we kind of have 2 Mandalorian-style series.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. And I think this goes back to what I was saying a couple episodes back, that I'm a little nervous that we're getting oversaturated with Star Wars and they're just giving us anything at all. I imagine they're going to do a great job. It's got a great creative team behind it, so it'll probably be wonderful, but I don't know that I need it right now. I need to be sold on it a little bit more.
And maybe, Patrick, it's just a matter of being introduced to new Star Wars characters, which we're getting. But it's just the fact that now we're kind of getting these characters that we're very familiar with. And so we just need new stories, new characters to entice us. I don't know. But it could be an absolutely wonderful series. Who knows? But yeah, the Book of Boba Fett coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah, I think it just said later in 2021.
Question mark?
Who knows?
That takes us to the most important category of what we're most looking forward to in 2021, and that's other miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous / other, I think you mean.
Oh, I do apologize.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, here we are. Here we are to the most important category, as you said. Adam, do you have any others that jump out at you right away?
I have but one miscellaneous / other, Patrick.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if I just petered out on creating my list at this point, or if I kind of hit the high note right out of the gate, but I just want to talk about Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary.
Of course, absolutely.
What the heck is this going to be like?
I mean, you've posed that question so perfectly, Adam.
Should we just stop recording right now?
I think we got it.
There are so many expectations for this, and I imagine it's going to be scaled back somewhat, but maybe not. I think we're going to get, aside from Harmonious, I think there might be a new Magic Kingdom fireworks spectacular that may be kind of as a surprise. I think there may be pop-up surprises, and not pop-up appearances from Santa Claus, Patrick, but pop-up surprises throughout the celebration. But overall, I just don't know what to expect, really.
Yeah, same here. I imagine, or I guess I just hope, that we're going to get a lot of unique character sightings, some that we rarely see in the parks, and maybe some that we've never seen yet in the parks.
That would be excellent. I'm assuming that the merchandising is going to be working overtime on this.
I think we all know we're going to get a special 50th anniversary cupcake. And we're all looking forward to it.
Why did we talk about anything else in this segment when we could have been talking about the 50th anniversary cupcake?
I don't know. What were we thinking?
I'm curious, Patrick. I just don't know fully what to expect, but I'm excited that we're going to be there together experiencing it.
That's right. We both have our parks reservations for the Magic Kingdom on October 1st.
What is that day going to be like?
It's going to be magical AF, Adam.
Yeah, so that is my kind of big miscellaneous other topic, is the 50th anniversary. And I'm excited to see the kind of details, I'm assuming, the kind of crumbs they're going to be feeding us throughout the rest of this year leading up to the big date.
It's got to be a big deal, don't you think? I mean, it's the 50th, for crying out loud. I know that they likely have to pivot from what they were planning a year or two ago, but I imagine this is something we should raise our level of expectation for, I think.
Okay, it's the golden anniversary. So what? We're getting gold fanny packs?
I think we're just getting gold, Adam. We're just bars of gold.
Who doesn't want to carry around bars of gold when they're walking around a Disney park?
I can't name one person. Although that's a good point, though. I bet you anything there's going to be golden ears. There's going to be a gold spirit jersey. That could be cute.
I wonder, and this may be me kind of hoping beyond what I should be expecting, but is there going to be some kind of special token we're going to get for being in Magic Kingdom on that day?
I bet you, here's my hunch, it's going to be a key to the kingdom.
That unlocks the park for whenever we want to get back into it?
I don't know that it'll do that, but I think when I said we should expect a lot, I may have overreached for you. I may have underestimated what you would expect.
No, I mean, a key sounds great.
It'll be plastic, Adam. It'll be a plastic key.
That's great.
Thanks for this.
All right, Patrick, what about you? What are you looking forward to in miscellaneous / other?
Well, beyond the cupcakes, Adam, mine is something that's not necessarily guaranteed, although your news story gave me some high hopes. I'm interested to see what happens to our cast members, specifically the ones who were in shows at Disney World. I don't know if many of our Tweedledees have noticed, but they just released the maps to Animal Kingdom, and both the Festival of the Lion King and the Finding Nemo musical were no longer listed on those maps, which makes me wonder if they may be revamping some shows or they're going to put entirely new shows there. But I'm excited to see what they do. They will do something. At least that's my hope and my expectation. But I imagine, and I hope again, that they'll take this time to explore new shows, because it's been a while since we've gotten a new stage show at Disney World.
What would you like to see as a stage show if there was one that kind of focused on a certain Disney movie?
Oh, good question. People are going to hate me, but I do think it's time to replace the Finding Nemo musical. I wouldn't mind seeing a reimagined version of Tarzan. I think that there is some fun to explore there.
So you never saw Tarzan Rocks?
I did not see Tarzan Rocks, but I think it's time to bring Tarzan back.
I wonder if they could do some kind of combined show where they take several of the Disney movies that are featured in like nature or feature natural elements. I'm talking about like they could do Lion King. They could even do numbers from Nemo, Tarzan, The Jungle Book. You know, I don't know, but like kind of put them all together in a nature themed musical show.
Right. Pocahontas, The Rescuers even.
Get those animals and get that nature into a show.
Get that into a show. Yeah, something along the lines of Mickey and the Magical Map, you know?
I do know. I love that.
And I do think that they should keep a Lion King show, but I would like to see a refresh of it.
Yeah, I mean, that show is very powerful and such a wonderful tribute to the movie, but then also kind of a great twist on it. So, yeah, I think, you know, what we're seeing from the maps right now in Animal Kingdom, I don't think people should be too downhearted if they are fans of the shows that existed. You know, I'm certain that Disney's going to release new maps for the 50th across all parks. So this could just be for the time being, you know, but I agree with you. I think it would be fun to see new shows brought to not only Animal Kingdom, but across the board, you know, Hollywood Studios. Let's have a new show where Beauty and the Beast is going on. Let's have new shows for the 50th. That's a great idea.
Bring us that Rapunzel show.
Where is that show?
Come on. It's time. It's time, folks. Yeah, I'll just say it one more time. I think this is the time that Disney should reevaluate their stage shows and give us something new. And I think it would be fun for the actors who were there, who maybe want to do something a little different than the same show thousands and thousands and thousands of times in a row.
I love that. I love that suggestion.
Thank you so much. And here's my challenge, Disney. Take some of those stages and develop some shows that could switch in and out a little bit, something that doesn't have to be permanent for years and years and years.
Another great suggestion, Patrick. Why not take advantage of the opportunity of making things a little less permanent in those spaces and giving your guests more of an opportunity to experience something different when they visit the parks?
Amen and hallelujah.
I think we just solved all of Disney's problems.
We fixed it. We fixed Disney.
Wow. You know, up until this point, hosting this podcast, I was like, what are we doing here? But now I know.
Yeah, it all started with a mouse, but it was fixed by two gays and some microphones.
And with that, we come to the end of our list of attractions and movies and Disney Plus series and, most importantly, miscellaneous/other things we're looking forward to in Disney in the year 2021.
I love it.
But the conversation doesn't need to end here, Patrick. We want to hear from all of you Tweedles out there what you're most looking forward to. I know at the top of all of our lists is just getting back to the parks, period. But beyond that, what are you looking forward to experiencing in the parks, and what are you looking forward to watching at home or in the theaters? You can reach out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can, of course, leave us a voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com. So let's get back to gold merch. Adam, what else? What else could we get that's gold?
Well, you know what a fan I am of gold jewelry.
I do know. I do know that you like a chunky gold bangle.
I love a chunky gold bangle. Yes, I would love a heavy kind of chain-looking gold necklace.
Interested in that. Interested in that. Maybe some gold rings for fingers, or...
Do you want to finish that thought?
I do. Let's stop recording so I can finish that thought, though.
So just a quick 15-second break, and then you'll be ready to go.
That's all it takes. Oh, hey, Adam.
Oh, hey, Patrick.
It is the first quick D of the new year.
It's a lot of pressure.
Are you so excited for it, though?
I am very excited for it.
Okay. All right. I guess I am as well. For those who are just joining us for the very first time this year or ever, Quick D is where Adam and I ask each other a question we have not been privy to prior to recording, and then we eat Jell-O. I wanted to mix it up a little bit just in case people are reading along at home and reciting this verbatim. And now don't they look stupid, Adam? Don't they feel dumb?
They clearly are the idiots in this scenario.
2021, what's going to happen next?
It is the year of the unexpected for GDTD podcast.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So here we are, Adam. It's Quick D time. I've got my Jell-O. Hopefully you have yours. I think we have the very same question for each other. Do we not?
As promised at the top of this episode, we do have the very same question for each other.
How unexciting.
I like that we teased it, though. It's like, hey, if you want to stick around till the end of the episode, we have some subpar content for you.
That's right. So listener, get ready.
Get ready for this.
Just one listener is still with us.
We'll start with you, Patrick. Tell me, do you have any New Year's resolutions, or do you have any Disney resolutions, or both?
Would that be a dissolution?
A dissolution.
I have many of those, Adam. Let's see where to start with what I want to change.
Have we inappropriately titled this segment Quick D?
Yeah. Buckle up, folks. We're about 2 hours away from finishing this episode. You know what? I think I want 2021 to be for me.
What's that?
I want it to be the year of comfort.
Oh, that is, I think, a great resolution. I need more explanation.
Well, I think I spent all of 2020 being sort of pent up and anxious and like forcing myself to like find moments of meditation and da-da-da-da. And while it worked, I think I need to find a better way to like just relax into the year and just and let things fall where they're going to fall. And I can only react to what's happening, not to what might happen.
So you're going to drink more?
I'm going to be drunk for all of 2021.
I think that's a very achievable goal for you.
Yeah, it's the year of Southern comfort.
So by comfort, you just mean you want to be settled and calm?
Yeah, I want to relax, Adam.
I think that's attainable for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's time to rediscover CBD oils.
Okay. I was going to recommend that we stop doing the podcast, but okay.
That does not bring me anxiety.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Do you need it to bring you anxiety?
Maybe I do. Maybe I need more anxiety.
I have notes.
Great. Are you saying I should care more about the podcast?
No, I'm not saying you should care more. I just want you to be more anxious about it overall.
Got it. I will. I'll try. I'll do my best.
You know what I'm envisioning for you is just a year of you like in a taupe room and all of the furnishings are taupe and you're wearing like a flowy kind of taupe jumpsuit. And there's just kind of a low level atmospheric sound like whoa, 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 whoa. Almost as if you were in a womb.
Oh.
And that's 2021 for you.
A womb with a view.
There's no view.
Oh, see, that's anxiety. That's anxiety for me. You've just painted a horrible picture for me. I did actually just purchase, it hasn't come in the mail yet, a moon pod, Adam.
What is that?
It's like a new revolutionary beanbag chair, but it's from the creators of gravity blankets.
And the producers of Friends.
What?
So does it have like a hood that comes over you to kind of encase you?
No. It's just a fancy beanbag chair with an ottoman on it, and you just sort of relax into it.
Does it do anything to your bottom?
Oh my. It does not. Not that I know of. I have not sat in one yet. So I'll keep you posted.
It's one of the features. I just want you to know that.
I didn't upgrade, so I should have done that.
Can't say it's the most relaxing thing, but
just got a bidet on it for no reason.
You never have to leave that chair the entire year.
Oh, 2021, here we come. Adam, it's your turn. What are you resolving or disillusioning yourself into for 2021?
I think I have a resolution that's very attainable this year.
Fire Patrick.
No, never. What makes you think I have the authority to fire you?
I'm easily persuaded to do things.
There's so many other things. I have a laundry list of things I need to get done that I would have you do before I would fire you.
Fair enough. Noted.
So my goal is to become the most beautiful person on the planet.
Well, done and done, Adam.
No, don't flatter me. I'm talking about serums. I'm talking about teeth whitening.
Ooh.
I'm talking about skin treatments. Nothing like Botox or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I'm talking about topical creams and ointments, teeth whitening, maybe a diet. Things that will turn me into such a beauty that when I go for a walk outside, say, people are nauseated by how stunning I am.
Sickened. They're sickened by it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think they would be, but it's so beautiful that they puke.
Got it. I like that I'm going for like inner tranquility and you're going full evil Queen Rebecca.
Well, you know, Patrick, I've tried the inner thing, and that's a bunch of crap.
Kids, if you're listening at home, work on the outer you first.
Let the beauty soak into you from the outside, as opposed to working from the inside out.
That's right. It's right. If others aren't attracted to you, then how can you love anyone else? Is that the saying?
That's exactly the saying. Got
it. What lovely messaging we've come up with for 2021.
Be gorgeous in a moon chair. That will do it for this episode of Gaze Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gazedothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gaze Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gazedothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.